The chief judge of Illinois' 17th Judicial Circuit defends a Rockford judge who's faced threats and harassment after the release of a murder suspect earlier this month. Judge Heidi Augustin ordered the release of Richard Parsons under the Safety Act on October 8th. The decision sparked public backlash, which intensified after a local official criticized the ruling. Chief Judge John Lowry says the comments escalated tensions and put the judge and her family at risk. He emphasized that while legal rulings can be challenged, they should be done through proper legal channels, not through personal attacks. Parsons is scheduled to return to court next month.